Good day, internet peoples. I've got a real treat for you today. It's Skaven confirmed! That's right, I got very lucky a few weeks ago and was invited down to a sewage plant in London. And yes, it did smell rather like shite. But on the bright side, I did get hands on with Total War Warhammer 2 and captured some gameplay of the Skaven in a quest battle called the Rod of Corruption. Before we start, I will just mention that I'm only allowed to upload 20 minutes of capture total from the event. So this video is slightly chopped up to make sure you get all of the best bits, and I've also prepared another 10-minute video for the Dark Elves quest battle. But don't worry about that for now though, I'll link it at the end of the video. Let's start off by looking at the units. Plague Monks, Censer Bearers, some Flail Infantry, some Plague Monks, Dual Sword Infantry, and some Stormvermin, Halberd Infantry. So you've basically got kind of medium range, short range, and then a bit long range, all melee fighters there. The Hellpit Abomination, what a delicious, fantastical beast that is. Poison Wing Globadiers, kind of like flamethrowers, but poison. More Censer Bearers here, and then Gutter Runners, which seem to be quite a staple of the army. All missile infantry, but they look very cheap and in quite abundance. Even more Stormvermin, I think you get about 3 squads in total for this quest battle, and Rat Ogres, which are, well, quite monstrous. They're very useful for just charging into enemy lines and disrupting them. Very tanky and very hard hitting. As you can see here, lots and lots of Gutter Runners. I can only assume these are a cheap staple unit, which you're not really going to lose much sleep over if they don't make it to the end of the battle. There's the Doomwheel War Machine here, which is delightful, I think. A Plague Claw Catapult, which I'm sure you can work out what that is. And now over to our Lords, Lord Skrulk and Zapspark the Experimenter, who are both wizards. Speaking of wizardry, what abilities have they got? We've got the Doom Rocket, which is kind of like a cluster missile that Zapspark's got, and he's also got a potion that he can drink, the Skaven Brew. And on Lord Skrulk, he can act as an arcane conduit, which improves his kind of power reserves, his power rates. And of course, because he's a wizard, he's got lots of spells. 2 of them, I believe, can summon lots of rats from the ground, and some of them are more enfeebling and kind of damagey spells. So let's get into this mission.
Paradise, unblemished, pure. It must be gifted the touch of pestilence. That the reptile things attack me for this is blasphemy. Lead me to the Crimson Skull so I make it powder and restore my Rod of Corruption. Yes, yes. Let us begin. Yes, yes.
So it would seem that the point of this battle is to get a quest item, the Rod of Corruption, and the Lizardmen have got some kind of Crimson Skull, which Skrulk wants to crush down into powder so that he can restore his Rod of Corruption and get his weapon. The missions, these quest battles just start straight away. There's no setup phase. I wasn't able to reposition my units before we started, and I think that's kind of a purposeful thing that's been done on these 2 quest missions, because it's kind of throwing you straight into the action. So I didn't really have too much time to explore around, and obviously those scenes that you just saw, I had to restart and start a new mission just so I could kind of capture those. As soon as this mission starts, pretty much, you get attacked by, on the flank, by some more kind of raptors and a big carnosaur. So I sent my Stormvermin over early, along with my monstrous Rat Ogres, to kind of deal with that situation. Before this event, it has been about 6 months since I actually played a Total War game, so my micro's pretty rusty, not that it was any good anyway. But so apologies for not using control groups and things like that. There's a lot of drag selecting, but we can get over that, can't we? Right, so yeah, the Rat Ogres, charging those into a hero here. I think he's just like an alpha rather than a named lord, but I could be wrong, I could be wrong. Lovely drag select right click here, some excellent micro. Taking a look at this little situation over here. The Stormvermin plus Raptors equals dead Raptors. Good decision by me here, I think, but obviously it's quite obvious. Cavalry plus Pikes equals win. I love that Carnosaur model, look at it. Now I did actually play this quest battle twice, so with the magic of editing, giving you a little close-up of this hero here from a different battle, and we'll go back to the battle that we're following shortly. Here we go. So the Stormvermin now wrapping them around. I noticed that there was 2 Stormvermin squads not really doing anything. The Raptors don't seem to break, they just seem to go into a frenzy, but I do think that maybe they take increased damage when they're frenzied or something, because they are going down, and I'm not really taking too many casualties. As I said, my micro, and just generally I hadn't played Total War in quite a long time before this event, so my main bulk of my army was just kind of sat there in the middle not doing anything, although my artillery was still pounding the enemy from afar while they're moving in, and now I'm kind of setting up my battle lines ready to kind of take the brunt of an assault. The situation on the right hand side is pretty well dealt with. I think they do begin to start fleeing eventually, so I think once you get them low enough, even with frenzy, they will eventually break and leave the battle. Some Stormvermin were chasing there, and I've decided to wrap them into the back of the Raptors to try and finish as many of them off as I can. The main bulk of my army, well, basically I wasn't ready for the Lizardmen, but the Lizardmen were here, so I had to kind of get stuck in. I've sent in some melee units, and I've sent in my Hell Pit Abomination. All the while, my archers and things just continually hit them. Now, unfortunately, the Monstrous Infantry of the Croxagore, they burst through the middle line, and they've wrapped round on the back of some of my Dual Sword Infantry there, and I think they're going to go down. So I was kind of frantically looking for some spells that I could cast. On Lord Skrolk, I found a spell to summon some Death Runners, which I think are like heavy, elite, high-damaging kind of melee units, and I was hoping to use those on the Croxagore, but then I decided, as my unit had broke, to just kind of get them, re-engage the Skinks there. I think it's time to send in the Doomwheel to try and help out the Hell Pit Abomination, who's basically tanking the whole Lizardman army. The right flank was finally defeated, and then the Stegodon just kind of walking right through, just jumps in. But I've got a hell of a lot of pikemen and my rat ogres there to quite happily deal with them. Now, in a stroke of pure genius, I had my Globadiers facing the wrong way. Obviously, I didn't want them to get too traumatized from the horrors of war, and now it's ready to turn them around and get them doing something. The Croxagore are finally breaking, they're frenzying, but they are going down due to the fact that I've got Sensor Bearers, which are quite a heavy melee unit, I believe, and now I'm summoning some Clan Rats, even more units trying to overwhelm those Skinks. Clan Rats, quite a basic unit, but the Skinks are quite a basic unit for the Lizardmen, so it's kind of a like for like. I just wanted to get more units kind of engulfing those Lizardmen, trying to make them break. At this point, the battle is really turning in my favour. I killed the right flank really easily. I've killed off their Stegodon. Well, I think it's dead, or it's at least breaking. And the main bulk of their force is kind of really shattered and split. My Globadiers are actually quite happily firing from the back there. They have kind of like a chemtrail, you can see just on the top left there. Just firing into the back of the enemy. And my right flank here, seeing that Stegodon off. And looks like on the left side I'd kind of forgotten about it. These Skink skirmishes were doing a bit of damage. But now it's time to kind of mop up and start wiping up the shit that the Lizardman army is. I was really impressed with the sustain of the Hell Pit Abomination. He's basically managed to tank a hell of a lot of units for the majority of the battle. And my Doomwheel I kind of forgot about. In the second quest battle that I played of this, and you'll see it at the end of, kind of towards the end of the video, I did do some close-ups of the Doomwheel so you can kind of see it getting to work. Oh, look at him just trample through, crumble through. There's a Slan there, just kind of hovering around like a big magical frog bastard. He doesn't know what's going on. His army's in tatters. The Stegodon coming back in for a final harumph, but his health's pretty low. He's going to go down. There's some Saurus warriors here at the back, which are really kind of just holding some of my men back. They are kind of more of a medium to heavy infantry unit for the Lizardmen, but there's only one squad of them. I think I'll be fine on that bottom flank there. So my rat ogres unfortunately broke because I kind of forgot about them, and often, you know, when you haven't played an RTS for a while, you do kind of forget about certain units, and they'll just chase other units off the battle, and if the units rout, then you're kind of buggered. Speaking of routing, though, I've basically done enough damage now to completely force the Lizardman army back. They're in full retreat, and I've still got a hell of a lot of rats left. So, it's GG, isn't it? Quite a fun quest battle. Quite frantic, though, the fact that it just starts with no setup phase. I was kind of not ready for that. But, you know, we came out on top, so it's all good. Now, as I mentioned previously, I did record this quest battle twice, so there's some Doomwheel footage here of where I kind of tried to focus in on this unit because it's such a lovely model, and it's really quite a unique unit for Total War. It's a very fast-moving, kind of quite a tanky siege machine, really, and you kind of just get it stuck into units. As it charges units, it tramples them, and it's also got like poisonous kind of laser beams. I think it's called like rune stones or something. The green stones that they use, warp stone, sorry. And yeah, really useful unit. Takes quite a lot of micromanagement to really kind of get the most out of it, but it can be incredibly effective because you can kind of just charge it through the enemy lines and then obviously shoot them as well while you're chasing them down. So really like this unit. Really nice centerpiece for the Skaven army. Now that is all I've got time for on this video. I've got another video with the Dark Elves quest battle and also an interview with Ian Roxburgh, the game director. So if you'd like to check those out, well, do so. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like, leave me a comment, tell me what you thought. See you in the next one. Good memes!